Hello everybody, my Year 9 and Year 10 RS GCSE students. So today we're going to do lesson 2 on topic 1, Muslim beliefs of paper 2, the Islam paper, looking at the 5 roots of Shia Islam. So if I just share my screen with you. Okay, hopefully now you'll be able to see my screen. So we are building upon the last lesson, lesson 1, which was the 6 articles, the 6 beliefs of Sunni Islam. And if you remember, Sunnis, there are 90% of the Muslim population are Sunni, whereas 10% are Shia. So Shia, which is what we're focusing on today, they are the minor group when we're looking at Islam as a whole. So the 3 key things you're going to need to do, guys, is number 1, describe the 5 roots of Shia Islam. You need to know what the Arabic words are. Most should explain the nature, the history, and the purpose of the 5 roots. And some of you should be assessing the importance of these roots today. So what kind of impact, what's the significance of these 5 key beliefs on Muslims or Shia Muslims today? Okay, so the beginning of this PowerPoint is a mini recap of the 6 beliefs of Sunni Islam. You do have some questions here. So what is the quote for the belief in Allah? Hopefully you're answering now. Number 2, what is the belief for this quote? We only descend at your Lord's command. Question 3, the Kutubullah refers to which belief? How many prophets have there been? Which belief is this quote? On that day, people will be separated. What does Al-Qadar refer to? Okay, and now here are the answers. So number 1 is He is Allah, the one. Allah is eternal and absolute. There is none like Him. Number 2 was angels. Number 3, the Kutubullah's holy books. Number 4, for how many prophets? Over 124,000. The separated quote, the day of judgment. And then Al-Qadar is the decree of Allah with regards to his predestination. So we know that Sunni Muslims have their 6 beliefs, and now we're going to look at the 5 roots. So first of all, we need to kind of understand and recap who are Shia and why are they different? You know, what is the history behind it? So, of course, Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, died after beginning the new religion, Islam, and then the leadership was really disputed between the Muslim community. Some wanted Abu Bakr and others wanted Ali Talib. So the leadership of the Shia community continued with imams believed to be divinely appointed from the Prophet's family. So unlike the Sunni caliphs, which started with Abu Bakr, the Shia imams generally lived in the shadow of the state and were independent of it. So the largest sect of Shia Islam is known as the Twelvers because of their belief that 12 divinely appointed imams descended from the Prophet himself, Muhammad, in the line of Ali and Hussein. They're the 2 really important imams. And they led the community until the 9th century. Now, another sect is the Sevener, and they believe in the same roots as the Twelver, except they have a different leader. Now, there is a quick video clip on there, guys, if you would like to take time to watch it. Also, on the last slide, there's a stretch and challenge to actually learn more about the history of Ali. So Shia wanted Ali to lead them, not Abu Bakr. So Usal is the Arabic term for the 5 roots of Shia. So within Shia Islam, there are 5 key principles. These are often referred to as the 5 roots of Shia or the 5 roots of Usal. Using the image of roots shows that these principles are the foundations of the faith. So that's why on the right hand side of the screen, guys, you can see a tree with the 5 roots. Now the tree, of course, is the belief of Usal, and then you've got your 5 different roots. Now think about yourself. Can you think of 5 principles which are the foundation of you? What makes you? What kind of beliefs do you have which is really important and crucial to your identity? For me, I've put kindness, karma, honesty, So I believe that if I've done something really bad, something bad might happen to me. So I try to live a really good and positive life. Again, kindness, I think, is really, really important for everybody to be kind. There's no reason to be horrible. Like, no. So for me, Miss Marable, those are my roots. Whereas for Shia, they're really prescribed to them through what is written in the Quran and how the Imams of Shia Islam have interpreted the Quran to make these 5 roots, just like Sunnis have their 6 articles of faith, which was decided by their caliphs. So their first root is Tawhid. Now, Tawhid is the belief in the oneness of Allah. Now, this is the belief that God is one, He is almighty, and only He is worthy of worship. Tawhid came from the Prophet Muhammad, who was communicated to through the angel Jibril. It was important that Muslims understood what Allah was, because it is not good for humanity to worship false idols. It's actually a sin to make anything equal to Allah, and this is called shirk. So that's a really good key term to have, guys. Make sure you understand what shirk means, and it means to put something as an equal to Allah. Now, at the time that Muhammad was living in, the majority of people living in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, were pagans, essentially. They were worshipping lots of different gods, and they were worshipping stone statues of these gods. And it was really quite conflicted. So Muhammad was the first person in Saudi Arabia to really communicate this idea that you don't need multiple gods, you only need one, worship one. Now, that's not a new thought. It really does stem from Judaism, and Judaism was, I think, about 4,000, 3,000 years before Islam or before Christianity. So if we think about our kind of timeline of Abrahamic religions, and we call them Abrahamic religions, as in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, because they all stem from the prophet Abraham, who started Judaism. So remember, Muslims, they're kind of the newest out of the 3, and they believe pretty much everything that Jews do, and Christians do, but they have their own different kind of opinion on it. Later, you'll be having a lesson on the prophets, and they believe in Jesus. They don't believe he is the Son of God, but they believe that he was a prophet with a message of love and forgiveness. So yeah, that's a bit of background to understanding this whole concept of the oneness of Allah and why it's so important for Muslims and Jews and Christians. Quote alert, remember quotes are really, really important, guys, for your C question and your D question in your exam. He is God, the one and only, God the eternal, the absolute, there is none like him. And again, this is going to be such a handy quote to have for the other topics in the paper. Okay, second one is Adala, which means Allah's divine justice. So Shia Muslims believe that Allah is always right and just. One of his 99 beautiful names is the All Just. Now, just and justice means to do what is right and fair. So they believe that they have a really fair God, a God that does the right thing. You might not be able to understand it sometimes, but in the grand scheme of things, everything happens by Allah's will, his command, and he does so in a fair way. So, second part here, guys, on the PowerPoint. Sometimes Allah may act in ways that are beyond our understanding, but ultimately the world has been created to be fair and just. All Muslims believe there will be a day of judgment when they will have to account for their faith and their deeds. So really that kind of links into the idea, you might have living your life and something really bad might have happened and you think it's really, really unfair, but Muslims believe that, this has happened for a reason, and perhaps on the day of judgment, on Mi'ad, things will be put right and you could potentially now have a reward for all of the suffering that you've had to endure in your life. Quote, I advise you of being just towards both friend and foe. Now that quote means, it's not from the Quran, so that's important to remember. So you might actually, when you're analysing this quote, be thinking to yourself, well, it's not really from the word of Allah, therefore can we make this quote more important than, say, the previous quote on Tawhid, which is from the Quran. But friend means, of course, be fair to your friend, but your foe is also your enemy. So Islam teaches you are fair to everybody. It doesn't matter if you like them or not. What is fair is right. Okay, number 3 is Nabuwah, which means the prophethood. Now, you have another term for prophethood, which is Risala. Now, for Shia, you call it Nabuwah, okay? Now, if you get a question, I don't know, all on Risala, which is the prophethood, you could definitely go in and say, well, Shia think the prophethood is really, really important. They call it Nabuwah. And that will demonstrate to your examiner that you really know what you're talking about. So, the prophets, which is a word which describes somebody who has been chosen by God to communicate a message to the people. So the prophets provide guidance from God and should be respected. This is especially so for Prophet Muhammad, as he was God's final prophet and communicated the Quran to human beings. Now, Muslims believe in many of the same prophets as Jews and Christians. For example, they believe that Adam was the first as caretaker of the earth, and even believe Jesus was a prophet, but not the Son of God, because that would be considered as shirk. Now, remember, shirk is a sin, and it's putting somebody as an equal to God. So Muslims really do disagree with Christians on that one. Quote, we sent a messenger to every community. And as you can see here, guys, on the right-hand side of the screen, I've got 25 prophets of Allah mentioned in the Quran. These are just some of them. And as I said, because it is an Abrahamic religion. Okay, next one is the Imamah. Now, this one is really important because this is the thing which really sets Shias apart from Sunnis. If you think about it, numbers 1 to 3, so Tawhid, Adala and Nabuwah, they are all really similar to Sunni beliefs. The nature of Allah, the decree of Allah, and what was the other one? Can't remember now. What was the last one? Nabuwah, the prophethood, so the prophets. So this one is really unique to Shia. So the 12 imams were chosen by God to lead Islam after Muhammad died. Shia Muslims believe the leaders such as imams protect the religion and help to guide Muslims along the right path. So think about it, guys. The Quran was written around 1,500 years ago. There will be things in the Quran which won't make a lot of sense at all for the modern day, and people will turn to the Quran when they need some help and some guidance. So lots of people now in the UK who are non-religious are reading lots of self-help books that kind of talk about, living in the now, living in the present. Fern Cotton, who's on Celebrity Juice, she's written loads of books called Calm and Happy. Now, those kinds of books are basically like the Quran and like the Bible and like the Torah, all these holy books, because they're there to help people spiritually, emotionally, psychologically, to deal with things in their lifetime. So, but of course, it was written 1,500 years ago. So Fern Cotton might be able to go, oh yeah, so when you're on your mobile phone and you're feeling really low about, I don't know, everybody's amazing life and your life kind of sucks a little bit at the moment, she can talk about that. But in the Quran, you can't, because obviously Muhammad wrote 1,500 years ago. So imams, going back to what this point is on, are really important because they are able to then interpret the Quran and apply it to everyday life. So, quote, you who believe obey God and the messenger and those in authority among you. Again, this is a really, really good quote, especially when we're doing the next topic, which is crime and punishments. Okay, last route is Mi'ad, which is the day of judgment and resurrection. Now, Shias are the only ones that call the day of judgment Mi'ad. Again, remember, this is really Shia specific. So, on the last day of the world, Muslims will be resurrected from their graves and be judged by Allah. Allah will judge all of humanity according to how they have lived. If they've lived a good life in accordance to Islam, then they will be granted with paradise. However, if not, then their soul will go to hell. Again, guys, you're going to have a really big lesson on this. Lesson number 8 is called Akira, and Akira means the afterlife, which of course this is what it's all about. But if we're looking specifically at Shia roots, this is the context that we're talking about with regards to calling it mi'ad. So here's some more Arabic terms for you. So paradise, aka heaven, is called al-Jannah, and hell is called Jahannam. So try to be using these Arabic terms. Again, it demonstrates that you're an expert in the studies of religion and culture and people and belief. So use those terms. Okay, so this is a quick task about comparing Shia 5 roots with the Sunni 6 beliefs, which we've done basically, and they're all really similar, apart from Shia have different words like mi'ad and nubuwah, and also they believe in the imams, the Imamah, which is God-given leadership. So Sunnis, they don't believe in God-given leadership. They believe that the successor and the leader of Sunni faith should be through elections, whereas Shia, they disagree. No, it's kind of within the bloodline, because they have been divinely appointed. So, which belief is the key difference? As we've said, it is Imamah. So this is because Sunnis believe that after Muhammad died, Abu Bakr should have led Islam. After his death, there should be an election for his rightful caliphate, his caliph, not an imam. A caliphate is a religious leader, whereas an imam has God-given leadership, basically what I just said. And this was the main cause of the division between Sunni and Shia Muslims. Now, this division is still really felt in today's world. You have countries in the Middle East which are more kind of Shia or more Sunni, and unfortunately it has been a cause of some war. Now, of course, we know that religion isn't, just associated with Islam as a cause for war. If we cast our minds back to our own history about the Christian Crusades, it's been apparent in lots of different religions. But, to have some understanding and some context around the Sunni Shia divide is really, really important for this paper. So, however, they also are divisions within Shia. So 12er and the 7er disagree with each other and believe in different imams. That's really important as well. That's kind of like a good little evaluation point to have. If you, say, for example, had a D question on this, between Shia and Sunni beliefs, a really good critique of the Shia belief would be the fact that even within Shia they cannot agree, and therefore their belief system may be argued to be flawed. Because if it was true, then why aren't all Shia Muslims believing